All right, back again here on the Sort of Sports podcast. I got to thank everyone who tuned in to last episode 109. If you were one of the 15 I think listeners I got on that, 14 on YouTube, and let's go to Spotify and see how many we got on there real quick. Loading in. 16 people who tuned in from last week's episode. Greatly appreciate it. Probably the most random episode that has ever been recorded for the Sort of Sports podcast. Episode 109 will go down in the history books as truly the most spur of the moment, Ryan just wants to get this off his chest pod ever made. But anyways, we're back again for our NFL show. You're probably wondering, Ryan, where's the MLB pod? Some scheduling issues came up. RJ ended up having to go watch, well, not have to, but his uncle wanted to watch the Guardians game with him last night, so he ended up not being able to record. Andy was like, that works out. I got this. I got to get done. So they will not be joining me again until our World Series preview pod, and that will be in about 2 weeks, so that'll be fun. That'll be the next time they join. Hopefully it's the Guardians in the World Series. Guardians play tonight. Tanner Bybee's going to be on the mound, expecting a big win in the Bronx. Show them Yankees that they're little bitches. So, Okay. Let's get into the NFL stuff. So first of all, we got Commies v. Ravens. This game was getting hyped up like crazy. I don't understand why they put in the option for the NFL to be able to flex games to Sunday Night Football if they're not going to flex games like this. This, to me, should have been Sunday Night Football. It was getting incredibly hyped up. People were, the tickets were like off the charts. It was like thousands of dollars. It was $4,000 for like a front row seat in one of the areas. The only reason I knew that is because somebody tweeted out for $4,000 they should let me watch the game from Lamar's shoulders, and I thought that was funny. But the Ravens won kind of definitively, and I think it just exposed what we all know about the Commies, which is they're very much ahead of schedule offensively, and Jaden Daniels is exactly what you want out of the rookie quarterback. And he made an incredible throw to Terry McLaurin late in the third quarter. That might have been early fourth. That touchdown to Terry was incredible. They needed that one. And great play by Terry McLaurin. Love Scary Terry. They call him Scary Terry also. I know it was kind of Terry Rozier's thing, but I've always referred to Terry McLaurin like that. But I don't know if that's just me. Anyways, I've been a big Terry McLaurin truther for a long time. And I actually have him in one of the fantasy leagues, and I have him and Jaden Daniels. I took Jaden Daniels in the last round of that fantasy league. Yeah, that's right. He was there. 15 rounds. The guys were just like not high on him. I was able to snag him. So he's actually my starter. I picked up Matthew Stafford 2 rounds before that. This just shows kids that in fantasy football, and not just kids, this goes for adults too. In fantasy football, you should draft rookies. People are always like, I don't know. Because their value is always lower than it should be. Not for all of them. Obviously not for all, right? I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. was a little inflated, for example. But somebody like Brock Bowers is like a top 5 fantasy tight end. He might be top 3 right now, I think. I guess I can just look at it right now. Let me pull it up where Brock Bowers is for tight end in fantasy. So we'll just go leaders and tight ends. Oh, he's 2. Okay. So yeah, Brock Bowers is the best fantasy tight end, and probably in most drafts he was going round like 5, 6. Like he's probably the 5th tight end in a lot of drafts just because he was a rookie. And to me, it's like that's why I picked up Brian Thomas Jr. I would have loved to have. I really kind of wanted to get a draft where I was able to snag. Rome. Oh, wait, never mind. I did have a draft. I got Rome. Sorry, I got Rome Odunze in a draft, and that was good. I have him and Caleb Williams as a stack in one league, and I have Scary Terry and Jaden Daniels as a stack in the other one. Obviously, the Scary Terry, Jaden Daniels stack is better, but the Caleb Rome one did pretty well last week. Not Rome, but Caleb did. So, yeah, but back to the Commanders game. They're now 4-2 on the year, and the Jaden Daniels hype's been off the charts. I mean, they're talking about him like he's the best quarterback in the NFC. I haven't seen the NFL push a rookie quarterback this hard. Oh my gosh, since Mahomes. And Mahomes wasn't a rookie. It was his second year. But like that year in 2018, when Mahomes, stepped onto the field and became the Mahomes we all know, the second greatest quarterback of all time. That year, when he threw like 50 touchdowns, won MVP. That Mahomes is kind of the last time I saw this level. Like they pushed him like crazy. He's on tune into any sports show last week. They're talking about Jaden Daniels. They're probably doing it again this week. Jaden Daniels got praised during the broadcast. He lost the Ravens. Now, granted, he did play well. He doesn't throw many interceptions. I get it. But C.J. Stroud had the greatest rookie quarterback year of all time last year. He was getting half this much push. I don't know. Maybe the Commanders have a massive fan base that has just been untapped. And now that Snyder's out and they got the new ownership group and they've got Dan Quinn and this new coaching staff, like the NFL is like, yes, time to pounce. But the NFL is pushing him like crazy. And I've being serious, guys, like I haven't seen this level of push in a very, very long time. It's been, like I said, 2018 is the last time I remember pushing this hard, and that was Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes, I mean, there was kind of a huge push for Lamar, but it was kind of after 2019. Like during 2019, they were pushing him pretty heavy. Then he won MVP, and then the year after, they were really pushing him. But Jaden Daniels, I mean, they market him way more than they do Caleb Williams. Way more. And Caleb Williams played great last week. It was the best he's ever played. Granted, weird game, London, against one of the worst teams in the NFL, if not the worst, in the Jaguars. But he's been playing really well. Caleb Williams has been coming into his own. I do think he's going to be the Bears franchise guy. Do I think he will be an MVP-level talent? No. I said a couple weeks back that I thought Jaden Daniels' ceiling was like fringe top 10. I will have to admit, I've come back on that a little bit. I do think there's a world where he's a top 10 quarterback. I don't think he's going to break into the top 5. I think that top 5 is pretty set. It'd be very hard to crack into the Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Stroud, Burrow set. Maybe the Burrow spot is up for grabs. Maybe. But even then, I have Stafford at 6. And so those other guys fighting for those spots are my guy Brock, Jordan Love, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams. Those are the other guys fighting for that. And we got other rookie quarterback to talk about here in a bit, and Drake May. But Jaden Daniels has been playing incredibly well. But the takeaway from that game to me is just, it's insane how much they're marketing this guy. Like, I wouldn't be surprised he's on the cover of Madden next year. Like, the NFL loves him, and I don't really know why. Like, I think he's really good. He's fun to watch, don't get me wrong. But is there just this massive fan base in D.C. and with the Commanders? Like, does the East Coast, like your Connecticut's, your New Jersey's, well, definitely not Jersey. They got the New York teams. But, like, your Connecticut's, Maryland, well, Baltimore, Maryland. What am I thinking? Like, yeah, I guess Connecticut, Maine, New Hampshire, like Vermont, do those states like really mess with the commies? Like, are they not into the Ravens or the Patriots? Is that what happens? Or I don't know. Is there some people in Carolinas that like the commies and not the Panthers? I always felt like the Panthers were kind of that Carolina. I don't understand. But for some reason, they're pushing it like crazy. And here's the thing with the Jaden Daniels thing. Playing quite well, probably going to be Rookie of the Year. The only reason I'm not, because right now he's been playing like a top 10 quarterback. You look at the numbers, he might be top 5. But you can't just rank him there all of a sudden because that's ESPN get up talk. I guess that's an ESPN 10 a.m. show talk. Is Jaden Daniels best quarterback in the NFC? No, because we don't know. It's kind of like Mahomes. Let's go back to the Mahomes thing, right? Mahomes in 2018 threw for 50 touchdowns. It's the most he's thrown as a career. He's probably never going to throw for that many again because everybody now studies Mahomes and figures out how they're going to limit him when they play him. Whereas that year, he was blossoming throughout the season. So coaches were trying to get prepared for Patrick Mahomes. I mean, there's only so much tape. Now, everybody spends the whole offseason thinking about him. Instead of, oh, wait, we faced him week 5, and he's looked great these first 3 weeks, because that's how it was in 2018. Now, I was always thinking Mahomes is, that's what's impressed me about him is, yeah, this is his worst year, but they're still winning games. And you got to think every offseason, he's the one that they're trying to figure out. They're not trying to figure out Jaden Daniels this offseason. Like, nobody was. They were like, oh, yeah, we got to play the Commanders. Well, next year, let's say the Commanders win 12 games this year. That'd be absurd. Let's chill out. Never mind. So let's say they win the division. They go 11-6. People are going to start circling that game. And next year, then we see how Jaden Daniels responds. Because that's always the big thing with me, is that second year, how do you respond to after everybody studied you and after everybody figured out how they're going to attack you? Because that's my thing with Stroud right now, is we find out how good C.J. Stroud is this year. Same thing with Jordan Love. Because now they have to respond to everybody studying them over the offseason. And I think C.J.'s doing very well. I think Jordan Love's done pretty good too. A little higher on C.J., but I also am just really high on C.J. in general. But regardless, that to me is the important thing of Daniels. Now, you can get excited. You can put him in top 10 for you. You can say he's the best quarterback in the NFC, even though it's Matthew Stafford. Like, it is Matthew Stafford. It's like not a question in my mind. People don't realize how good Matthew Stafford is. Like, he does some plays where it's like, wow, it's like you and Mahomes are the only two people doing that. He has some plays like that. I mean, you got to think, last year people were trying to convince me that the Rams were going to beat the Lions in the wild card. And be like, oh, that's ridiculous. That Lions team was amazing. They went to the NFC Championship. Yeah, you think that now because hindsight's 2020. But at the time, people were trying to tell me that the Rams were going to beat them. You know why they said that? Because of Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford. You look at the offense on those Rams teams, the Rams team that won the Super Bowl especially. Nobody knew that Cooper Kupp had that in him until that season. And what changed? Because McVay was still there the year before. Cooper was pretty good. He became elite in one season. Now, part of that credit has to go to him. He obviously worked his ass off in the offseason. But I put a lot of that credit on Matthew Stafford. Because Puka Nacua was clearly a great pick by them. And clearly, Sean McVay's got a scheme that elevates wide receiver talent. But when does Matthew Stafford get some credit for the way he elevates receiver? So that's my thing with Stafford. He does not get enough respect. My goodness. Okay. Last point about Jaden Daniels, and then we're going to talk about something else. Jaden Daniels is the perfect representation, though, of why I think the Panthers need to draft a quarterback. Because right now, you look back, and right now they're talking about all these shows. Oh, this Commanders offense. You know, they got Terry McLaurin. They've got Brian Robinson, who's pretty good. You know, he's been playing well for them. Cliff Kingsbury's got this offense rolling. Jaden Daniels has went into Washington and elevated the offensive talent. They've got some receivers I can't even remember the names of, but they made some big plays this Sunday. Terry McLaurin's always been good. Jaden Daniels went in there and made him even better. Because when you're a good quarterback, you can elevate talent. And I'm having guys say to me, why don't the Panthers just put Bryce in? The season's already lost, whatever. I said, well, with Bryce, everybody looks bad. And with Andy Dalton, it's like, oh, wow, Xavier Legette was a good pick. We hit on that. Okay, Deontay Johnson has something. Probably not going to extend him. We're probably going to go for like a T. Higgins in free agency. But, you know, he's not bad either. Okay, Sanders has been making some plays. That's interesting. You know, we've been seeing Chuba Hubbard has been like a top 5, I don't know if top 5, but like a top 10 back this year. And we've seen him, this is the best year he's ever had. And we're seeing this under Andy Dalton. Yeah, and not Miles Sanders. Hell no, when I'm talking about Sanders that was playing well. I'm talking about Jatavion Sanders, the tight end, who's been over Tommy Tremble this year. Which I always love the name Tommy Tremble, but I don't really know if Tommy Tremble's very good. When everybody's like, oh, well, Ryan, your defense needs help. Okay, I understand that, but I think everyone would agree J.C. Horn is legit good. I've been on for a while there. Guys would be like, oh, well, J.C. Horn's the only good defensive guy in the Panthers. And I'm like, is J.C. Horn actually good or people just know the name? No, this is the year he's proved to me he is actually good. So I'm very happy about that. For a while there, I thought it was just smoke and mirrors. Whoa! Yes, that was my Cody Rhodes reference. One of the best WWE theme songs ever. But defensively, Derek Brown is an elite defensive lineman. Like a top 3 defensive lineman. He's incredible. He's like up there like Chris Jones. He's awesome. So, yeah, we just need an edge rusher. But you can't tell me for a second to put in Bryce Young when the offense is being elevated by Andy Dalton. Because Andy Dalton isn't an elite quarterback by any means, but he is good enough. He can elevate the talent to play well. He's elevating Xavier Legette. He's elevating Deontay Johnson. Jalen Coker been playing all right for the Panthers. And you're seeing that in the offense. And so to me, the Panthers right now are in a perfect spot where we're losing games, but we look better offensively every week. Now, the defense isn't looking the best. The defense is looking rough. I'm not sure if we're going to keep Vero after this year. But in his defense, he is missing Derek Brown, who is the best defensive player on the team. But also, the defense is also kind of bad. So it's like, I don't know how much they're going to blame him. But the thing is, for the Panthers, Canales has got us in the right direction. I'm very happy with what we're doing, and I just don't understand the thought process of putting Bryce back in because he's just going to make everything look bad because he's not good. Now, if Bryce comes in and he plays well, and it's like, oh my gosh, Bryce Young's fixed. Hooray. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Bryce is going to come in. He's going to play bad, or he's going to play slightly better, and Xavier Legette will look worse, and everybody that's been making progress look worse. And that's just not what I want to see happen. And that's really it. So, okay, this started with Jaden Daniels, and I got off. But yeah, that's my point, is if you have a great rookie quarterback, he can elevate talent. We've seen it with C.J. Stroud. We've seen it with Jaden Daniels, where nobody knew who Nico Collins was, and now everybody knows who he was. Knows who he is because of C.J. Stroud. Now, part of that's coaching. I understand that. But a lot of it we're seeing with these, and that's my argument with Bryce Young, is clearly he's not very good when he makes everybody look worse. He doesn't make anybody look better. People are always like, oh, the offensive line's bad. At some point, Drake May doesn't have a very good offensive line, but Drake May looked good Sunday. Let's talk about Patriots. So my Sunday schedule, my viewing slate, my main watch was Ravens Commies. I wanted to watch as much of that game as possible because I said the Ravens were going to prove to them that they don't have a good enough defense and that they're about a year away from being legitimately really interesting. Now, they're going to be a fun story this year, talking about the Commies, but they're going to be a wild card loss, if they're lucky, a divisional loss. That's the Commies this year. Next year, make some right moves defensively, just really upgrade the defense, and Jaden Daniels doesn't regress at all. Like, he's able to respond to the sophomore year defense against him. Yeah, that could be a really, really strong team, maybe the best in the NFC, legitimately. But you're going to have to see. You're going to have to, work at that. Whereas the Ravens basically showed like, hey, Ryan, you say 4 teams can win the Super Bowl, maybe it needs to be 5. Because the Ravens on both ends of the football know what they're doing. They have a great coach. They were saying in the broadcast that John Harbaugh is probably top 10 coach all time. I wouldn't exactly disagree. Lamar is still an MVP talent, playing incredibly well. I love Lamar. You guys know this. Arguably my favorite quarterback in the game. It's him and Baker in a death fight with Justin Herbert also watching as far as my top 3 favorites. But yeah, Lamar has played excellent Sunday. It just feels like everybody's always shitting on Lamar. Feels like everybody's always like, oh, well, he can't do this. He's not. I had somebody this week say to me that, oh my gosh, actually, I can remember who said this. That kid's an idiot. I don't know why I should even repeat this, but I'm going to say it. He said that Jaden Daniels is like, he's worse than running than Lamar. He's like Lamar, but he's, okay. I'm going to rephrase this. He said, Jaden Daniels plays a lot like Lamar. It's just he's not as good at running as Lamar, but he's a better passer than Lamar already. What? No. Stop. 2-time MVP Lamar Jackson. People were trying to say he was the second best quarterback in the NFL before this year started. Then Josh Allen had to come in and shut everybody up. Lamar Jackson is a better thrower than Jaden Daniels. There's not. This is insane. But here's what's crazy about this. Is that take he just said, it's probably been said on like a mainline ESPN show. And that's just insane to me. Like, I haven't seen a guy pushed by the NFL media this hard in a long time. And I don't hate Jaden Daniels. I'm actually pretty proud of him because I didn't really think he would be that good in the NFL. The only team I thought he'd be good for is the Patriots. And he's playing quite well. And I think a lot of people kind of wrote him off. And so props to him. It's like you look at this draft class for quarterbacks. It's like Bo Nix is probably going to be a Jameis Winston story where he's going to start for a couple of years and then he's going to become a backup because he's not the best. And then you got Caleb, Jaden, who are franchise guys most likely. And maybe Jaden is going to be an MVP level talent. I'm not exactly sold on it, but I see it more with him than I see Caleb Williams. And then we got Drake May, who we're going to talk about here in a second, which I'm really high on. And then we haven't seen anything out of Penix yet. We haven't watched Penix yet. Potentially 3 franchise guys. I just think it's pretty good. I mean, you go back to 2021 class. Trevor Lawrence, not a franchise guy. Zach Wilson. Well, I shouldn't have said that. My bad. Shouldn't have said that. I'm going to revoke that. The jury is out on Trevor because I don't know what to think of that. I really don't. So it's like Trevor, who knows? We'll see what goes on with Trevor. Let's say Trevor's a franchise guy, right? Trevor, franchise guy, right? Zach Wilson, clearly not. Trey Lance, not. Mac Jones, not. Justin Fields, I mean, kind of. We're going to have to talk about what's going on with him here in a bit. So it's already looking better than 21. But granted, at the end of the 2021 season, it looked like Mac Jones was a franchise guy. And Trevor and Justin were too. So it looked like it was 3 for 5. And we didn't know on Trey Lance because he hadn't played yet. So it's very similar to that 2021 draft class. And I said that during the draft too. So who is going to be the Mac Jones and shit the bed? Probably Nixie. I think it's Nixie. I don't think there's a Zach Wilson. I really don't. I think everybody's kind of good. I think everybody's better than that, but it's definitely Nixie. But yeah, if Drake, Caleb, and Jaden are all franchise guys, that would be pretty money. I do think Jaden's already probably better than Justin Fields. Yeah, I feel like, I hate saying that because I love Justin Fields, but I think he's probably already better than him. Just, that's kind of crazy, but it's true. Okay. Drake May. So like I said, my game I watched Commies Ravens, and then I would click over to Texans Patriots because I wanted to see Drake. And then 4 o'clock, I watched Panthers only, and then I didn't watch Sunday Night Football, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I just didn't care. I was like, it's going to be one of those games where it's closer than it should be, but the Bengals pull out a win, and that is literally exactly what happened. And I was like, okay. Read some recaps, and that was literally the way the game went. I was like, okay. So it's just like, yeah, the Bengals won, but nobody's impressed. That was kind of, yeah. It's like, okay. And Monday Night Football caught the end of, but I was watching guard ball. So come on, guards. But let's talk about Drake May. Love the fact they wore their best uniforms with him coming in. That was pretty awesome. So love when they wear those jerseys. Those are beautiful. And I know they're heavily associated to very bad years of the Patriots, like the late 80s, early 90s, but also they're awesome. And I wish that was kind of their main look. Like maybe retire the navy silver and red look. That's like the Brady era. And make Drake May era the bright red, bright blue era. You know, that'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? But anyways, Drake May obviously had some struggles. Like he had that interception that was bad. But it's what we talk about with flashes. And you never really saw those flashes of Bryce Young. You saw flashes of Drake May. His first career touchdown was a beautiful pass. It was on the middle of the Patriots logo, oddly enough. And it was just a beautiful go route on the side. And they haven't gotten Jalen Polk going yet. By all the advanced stats, he should be good. I'm not a huge advanced stats guy with football. You guys know that. So I think the verdict's still out on Jalen Polk. If they can unlock him, there's something interesting going on. I don't know why Mayo didn't start Drake the week before against the Dolphins. Dolphins are really bad. I don't know why he started him against a really good Texans team. But that's the way they did it. And I think by like week 11, we're going to be like, wow, Drake May's really good. I think it's going to take a little bit, but I'm going to probably consistently tune in to Patriots games for the rest of the year, legit, because I think Drake May is going to be really good. I know the Herbert comparison is thrown around a lot, but it is similar. And it's not just because they're both, tall white dudes with brown hair that wear number 10. But it is kind of like, they do play similarly. It is kind of the same. And they're letting him kind of sling it. And I'm kind of intrigued to see where things go. I honestly think he can be really good. So I'm kind of high on Drake May, to be honest. I actually think he's going to be pretty good. I think by like week 10, we're going to be like, whoa. Yeah. So yeah, it might be like a sneaky good Sunday ticket team, the Patriots now. I want to say we need more Brock Purdy appreciation. My guy's been balling out. Like he's actually doing really good. And it's just like nobody, everyone's kind of like the Brock Purdy take thing kind of died off last year once they went to the Super Bowl. And so nobody's like, oh, well, Brock isn't any good. But no one's also like singing his praises either. We're just in this weird in between. Like the take era of Brock Purdy has kind of died down. Like people are just like, oh yeah, Brock's pretty good. But like no one talks about like he's like really good. Like really good. And I just don't get it. Like right now, he's second in passing yards. He's tied for 8th in touchdowns. He's only thrown 4 picks, and he's got the 5th best QBR in the league. Like he's a top 10 quarterback. He's, for my money, the 2nd best quarterback in the NFC. The guy who's 3rd is Jared Goff. 1 is Matthew Stafford. I would go Stafford, Purdy, Goff, Jaden Daniels. If you just heard a loud noise, it's because for some reason the changing, I think, in temperature is messing with my X-Men 97 poster as the sticky tack is giving out. So I'm going to have to rehang that up before I go to dinner. Okay. Yeah, that's all I had to say about Brock Purdy. But he's really good. And I don't understand why there's not more push for Brock Purdy. Why don't we give some of the Jaden Daniels love to Brock Purdy? Because Brock Purdy's really good. And I just don't think enough people are appreciating. Like, he's also one of the only quarterbacks right now who's pushing the ball downfield. I guess Mahomes is the best, don't get me wrong, but he hasn't been pushing the ball downfield as much this year. No quarterback is. They're doing a lot more dink and dime, doing a lot of screen passes. Brock Purdy pushes the ball downfield. And it's very impressive. I wanted to reiterate that Caleb Williams is really starting to click. And the whole, well, these quarterbacks need to sit for a year. That's what Patrick Mahomes did. Okay, sure, whatever. But clearly after like 5 weeks, they figure it out. Like they do, because they're professional athletes for a reason. It's like, no, we don't need to sit all these guys for a year and then start them. We don't. Caleb Williams is figuring it out. Jaden Daniels figures it out already. Drake May's going to get it figured out within a couple weeks. Like, I don't understand this mentality. It's like, the Panthers hurt Bryce Young. Yeah, maybe it did mess him up with his confidence. Maybe. But then we see Caleb Williams, who's got a bad offensive line, and he's making it work. So, this is so weird. I don't want anybody to think I hate Bryce Young. I actually really would like for him to be good. I've just accepted that I don't think he is. That's just kind of where we're at. Like, I'm just like, I don't think he's very good. And that's okay. It's disappointing, but it's reality. Why are the Steelers starting Russell Wilson? I don't understand. Like, what is the thought process here? You're 4-2 with Justin Fields. No. No. I don't get it. Like, why would you? He's been playing really well for you. And you're not, Russ isn't going to magically become the Seahawks Russ again. It's just not going to happen. So I just don't understand why anybody, I don't know. I don't have anything to say. I'm just like, what are they doing? What are they doing? I don't get it. Aiden Hutchinson. Oh my gosh, breaks my heart. He got hurt last, big win against the Cowboys. They ran all these trick plays. Big screw you after the whole Decker reported thing. And I just, sorry, I just got a trade offer in fantasy football, and I'm going to decline it real quick, sorry. There we go. Okay, it's taken care of. All right, guy's trying to get Amari Cooper from me. It's not happening. Where was I? Sorry, guys. Sorry. Hutchinson. It just breaks my heart because he was having a Defensive Player of the Year level year. This Lions team might win the Super Bowl, and he's not going to be there. He's not. And it would be great if he could be healthy by the playoffs, but he's probably not going to be. It's a pretty intense injury, and I think it was something with his fibula. I think it was broken. I think is what I read. So hope he's back next season. Hopefully it doesn't affect him too much, but it just sucks because seems like a great guy. And he's really fun, and so it's just kind of like, damn. All right, let's talk about my Panthers. We already did for a lot earlier, but here's what I want at this point. Continue to start Dalton. If you really want to start Bryce, fine. But if Bryce plays terrible, put Dalton back in. I just continue to start Dalton, get the team to play well, and if we just keep playing well offensively and then losing by like 10 to 14, and I'm fine with that. And you just keep doing that, and the season will end. I'll have a top 5 pick, and we take Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. It's most likely going to be Cam Ward. I think Shedeur Sanders will go to one of 3 teams. 1, the Las Vegas Raiders. And if Deion wants, he'll go be the head coach there. And I will have to find a new favorite college football team. 2, Shedeur could go to the New York Giants. They keep Dayball. He gets to be paired with Malik Neighbors. He gets to be king of New York, savior complex type thing. And he gets to be like the guy in New York. And he could potentially be beloved. Like he could be the Brunson of football. 3, the most interesting one, in my opinion, is the Miami Dolphins. Tua, we're really worried about your health. You want to be a coach for us, something like that. Please do. But we're going in a different direction. Shedeur Sanders is our new franchise quarterback, and he gets immediately paired up with Tyreek Hill and an offensive guru coach. Guess there's also a world where Deion goes and coaches there too. Honestly, I think in that world, if he goes to the Dolphins, Deion goes and gets the head coach position at Florida State, and I start wearing Seminoles gear. Then Shedeur's only a couple hours away. So yeah, that's my thought on where Shedeur's going to go. Now, as far as the Panthers, any draft that has us taking not a quarterback is stupid. Why would we? If Bryce isn't good, we should take a new quarterback. Now, Ryan, you don't want Quinn Ewers? No, I don't think Quinn Ewers is going to be very good in the NFL. I just don't. I don't. I don't think Carson Beck will be very good in the NFL. Jalen Milroe, I think, could be good for one team, and it's the New York Giants. Everybody else, probably not. Cam Ward, I want him. That's the guy I like. I think he'll probably come up second in Heisman voting, depending on how Ashton Genty ends the year. If Ashton Genty keeps up these stats, he's going to win Heisman. I would like for Travis Hunter to go to the Patriots and be teamed up with Drake May. That would be pretty awesome. That's probably the direction we're going in, which would be so cool. But, yeah, as far as the NFL draft, I think Cam Ward, come to my Panthers and save us. Also, Cam Ward is now like a known name. He's become quite famous very quickly. People don't realize how he plays because you see people that compare him to like Josh Allen and Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson. He does not play like them. He plays like C.J. Stroud. He's big. He's a bigger C.J. Stroud. That is how he plays. So don't get it confused because Cam Ward is not like super mobile. He can move around in the pocket like C.J. Stroud does, but he's not like running for like 40 yards. Like he's not. People see him move around in the pocket and they just assume he takes downfield sometimes. He doesn't. He does it. He's like C.J. Stroud. So I just think it's funny. Be aware. Okay, 2 big trades happened today. Amari Cooper is going to the Bills. Excellent pickup for the Bills. Amari last year was quietly like an elite wide receiver. This year he's been very bad. Hopefully the Bills can fix him. I love the move for the Bills. Really do. Devontae Adams is now a New York Jet. Big deal for the Jets. Big deal. This is huge for them. Feel like they're probably going to win Sunday Night Football, and it's like Devontae is going to kill it. And him and Garrett Wilson is an insane wide receiver duo. But here's the thing we do have to remember is that Devontae Adams is not the same Devontae Adams he was in like 2021. He's not. He's not as good. Maybe Rodgers can unlock him and make him that good again, but we will see. It's still a big deal. Let's do marquee matchups. 1 p.m. Lions at Vikings. This is huge. Undefeated Vikings against the Lions. I'm pretty sure it's going to be their first loss. I am. I think this is where the Vikings lose their first game. If they win this game, like, oh my goodness. And people are still going to say that the Vikings aren't for real. It's crazy, but it's true. But yeah, it's a great 1 p.m. slot. Another great 1 p.m. slot. Texans-Packers. Oh yeah. Another great 1 p.m. game. My pick for the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year. Not sure if I'm still feeling that, but it's still plausible. This should be a great game. I do expect the Texans win, but it'll be fun. 4 p.m., this is America's Game of the Week. It's going to be a great game. Chiefs-Niners, but the Chiefs should smack them. But everybody who watches this game, watch Brock Purdy. Like, watch Brock Purdy. Watch how well. Because everybody's like, oh, man. You know, everybody loves the Jawan Jennings game when he was going off. Part of that's Brock. Brock is so good. Come on. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, so Brock Purdy is going to kill it. Make sure you watch that. Primetime picks. Awful Thursday night game. Just a complete stay away. Broncos versus Saints. I'm going to take the Broncos to win. Sean Payton homecoming. Oh, my gosh. It's such a bad. I know why they did it, because it's the Sean Payton game. I get it. But, like, no. You know, like, just no. I don't want to see this game. I don't. Ugh. Icky, gross. No, I don't know if I'll watch this. The Guardians play that night. Just watch the Guards. Take the Broncos to win, though. Sunday Night Football, Jets versus Steelers. You know, I was honestly going to take the Steelers to win. But between Russell Wilson most likely being the starter this week and Devontae Adams being on the Jets now, the Jets are going to have new life. They're going to be all excited about Devontae, and I think they're going to get a win. I think this is their bounce-back win from the coach, from firing Robert Saleh. Monday Night Football, Ravens versus Bucks. Sneaky good Monday Night Football game. Like, at the beginning of the year, they were probably like, this will be a decent game. No. This is like a sneaky, like really good Monday Night Football game. Part of me would love to take Baker and the Bucks to win, but I cannot convince myself to do that as the Ravens are on a 4-game win streak, and they've been playing some of the best football in the league. So I'm going to take the Ravens to win. It would be elite if Baker can pull up an upset here. Baker in primetime always delivers. He might not get a win, but he always puts up something magical. And last time he played Lamar Jackson on Monday Night Football game, it resulted in what I believe is the greatest Monday Night Football game of all time. Ravens versus Browns, a.k.a. the Lamar Jackson poop game. Best Monday Night Football game ever. It beats the Rams-Chiefs one in my book. I absolutely love that Monday Night Football game. It was electric. Even Browns fans will tell you that game was electric, even though they lost it. So, all right, that's it for NFL. Do I want to touch on... Yeah, I'll touch on what I've been watching. So, yeah, real quick. The Penguin is like the best show on television. You should probably watch The Penguin. If you haven't even like a slight interest in it, like if you just liked the Batman, you're like, that was pretty good. You should probably watch Penguin. Like, give it a shot. And the first episode's really good. And it's a good indicator of how the rest of the show will be. Now, the second episode is also really good. The first 40 minutes kind of slow. Last 15, elite. The third episode, I didn't think could be topped, and now people are saying the fourth episode is incredible. So we might be witnessing like the best superhero show of all time, which before other contenders for that are like X-Men 97 and Batman the Animated Series, and like Justice League Unlimited, probably. Superman the Animated Series is a favorite of mine. Love that. What else is a great superhero TV show? I named everything that was probably the best live action superhero TV show. I think I can say that pretty confidently. I mean, I love Smallville. I do. And I like Smallville. I don't know. It's I don't know if I like it. Do I like Smallville more than The Penguin? Probably. But Smallville is amazing to me because they made a high school drama show that has Superman in it. Like, that just, come on. That's like built to be up my alley. That's so perfect. Like, come on. Whereas, you know, The Penguin is just an incredible crime show. That's about the Penguin. It's amazing. So they're doing very different things. That's actually a really interesting question for me, because like the Smallville is like manufactured to be a show I love, and I do. Yeah, it's also got like the best live action Lex Luthor. I'm sorry, Gene Hackman. You're great, but Michael Rosenbaum is elite. It's going to be hard for Nicholas Hoult to beat him. had some really good Lex Luthors over the years. Everybody loves to talk about how good the Jokers have been. And don't get me wrong. We have yet to get the Heath Ledger Joker, Lex Luthor equivalent. Nicholas Hoult might be the one to do it. But Michael Rosenbaum is, like, insanely good as Lex Luthor. And Clancy Brown is elite in the animated shows. Like, he is as good at Lex Luthor as Mark Hamill is as Joker. Yeah, I think Rosenbaum Lex and Gene Hackman Lex are both very good. Spacey Lex is also pretty good. I actually got to think about it. We've had some really good Lexes, but there is no definitive. Like, I think Rosenbaum could be the definitive if Smallville was a film, like if that character was in a film, but because it's in a TV show and it's Smallville, it's just not going to be as instantly iconic as Heath Ledger's Joker was. Maybe Nicholas Hoult can do it at the new Superman movie. The new Superman movie released some art today of him in crypto. I think that's what I'm going to use as the video part of this. So if you're looking at that right now, look how awesome that looks. I think the trailer is probably going to come out in the next 2 months. I might flat out record a pod that's just about the trailer. It'll either be that or I will just talk about it at the end of one of these weekly NFL shows. But yeah, I mean, I cannot wait for this movie. You guys know I can't wait. This has been a really interesting year. Oh, to wrap that point up, watch The Penguin. If you have even an inkling of interest, go watch it. I'm mostly speaking to my mother as she hasn't watched it, and I think it's really good, and I think her and my sister should watch it, and they would enjoy it. But I know they're doing a run of Halloween movies. This would be it. It's only an hour long, once a week. It's going to end in like the beginning of November. I mean, you could catch up pretty quick. Yeah, it's pretty elite. All right, keep it in mind at least. For everybody else that's not my mother, you also should watch it too. It's great. Come on, it's awesome. My mom loves Peaky Blinders, so go watch Penguin. If you don't love Peaky Blinders, still watch Penguin. That's great. Okay. Yeah, but 2024 has been interesting to me because I've gotten to the point where I've watched so many movies. It's hard for something to be, instantly Hall of Fame. And I think last year I watched a lot of movies for the first time that people have told me I would like, or are considered excellent films. Like I watched Seven for the first time last year. I watched La La Land for the first time last year. My buddy Jonathan recommended Crazy Stupid Love. Ended up being one of my favorite films I watched for the first time last year. So there was a decent amount of stuff I watched for the first time. This year, a lot of the stuff I've watched for the first time is stuff that's like, oh, this is sneaky good. And some people really like it. Like The Rundown. And I liked The Rundown, but The Rundown isn't a Hall of Fame for me. So it's been a lot of that this year. It's been a very different type of year for me in movies. But then as far as the theater films go, this has been an incredible year for movies in the theaters, as far as my taste. We might have 3 Hall of Fame movies that came out in theaters, because I absolutely love Dune Part 2, and I absolutely love Twisters, and Challengers has stuck with me more than any movie I watched this year. Challengers is in my mind more than Dune 2 was throughout this year. I can't walk by tennis anymore without thinking of it. It is that ingrained into my soul. I love Challengers, and I didn't really even want to see it. I was like, oh, look, the next Saltburn, where it's really well shot, and it's really horny, so people thus think it's art. No, it's actually incredible. It's really good. Like, it's so damn good. And I liked The Fall Guy. But The Fall Guy is, like, not as good as Challengers. And I told everybody they should go see The Fall Guy, because you guys should have. The Fall Guy was a great time. The Fall Guy is going to be an elite movie to get on Blu-ray. Like, it's going to be such a fun movie to watch again and again. But Challengers is so... oh my gosh. Yeah. I think I'm giving away too much. This is too much. I'm giving too much of a sneak peek into the sort of sporties. Got a new season of Outer Banks I got to watch. I'm sure I'll enjoy that. I'm sure I will. But it's very interesting of me in films at this point, because like we might only have like 6 or 7 Hall of Famers this year. And part of that is the only Tarantino movie I watched for the first time this year is Death Proof. I've really been putting off watching the last 4 on my Tarantino run, because I'm going to watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood last. So I got to watch Kill Bill 1 and 2, and I got to watch Hateful Eight, and then I'm done. Then I've seen them all. And because my favorite filmmaker only has 10 movies, 9 if you put Kill Bill 1 and 2 together, really limits me, because he canceled the movie critic, and he doesn't know what his next film's going to be. So I've really been heavily putting off wrapping up the Tarantino filmography, because I discovered him in June 2022. And he was pretty instantly my favorite filmmaker after watching Django and Pulp Fiction and Inglourious Bastards within the span of a month. And year later, watched Jackie Brown for the first time. I think I can genuinely, this will be cool. I'm just going to put this out there. When I eventually do the inevitable Tarantino ranking pod, my memory's good enough. I can remember like where I was in my life, like what I was thinking about, why I felt like watching this movie, what led to me being intrigued about every single Tarantino movie. I can remember where I watched it. Now, all of them are at my house. Oddly enough, I've never watched a Tarantino movie at college. Well, yeah, I've never even rewatched one at college. It's really odd, but I've always watched them at home. I don't know why that is, but it's true. Like when Harry Met Sally, I've seen that so many times, I think I can't remember everywhere I've watched it. Like I watched it one time during school. Like it was in a study hall. I was like a friend of mine. I was like, you got to see this movie. It's amazing. I watched it like 3 or 4 times in my house. I watched it on an airplane twice. Once on the way to Europe, once on the way back. Yeah, I've seen that movie an absurd amount of times. But yeah, that's an interesting thing. That could be fun if I do that. But it's been an interesting year for me in movies. Like we might not have that many Hall of Famers, but it's probably the best year of TV I've ever had. Been a lot of great TV shows, but it's also been an incredibly strong year in releases for me. Where it's like 2024 movies I really like, but it's like some of the stuff I've watched that hasn't been 2024 related. I've just been like, oh, it's all right. Like The Rundown. I enjoyed it. It wasn't anything special. And that's what leads me to what I've been watching lately, which was Sunday night. I watched for the first time. Well, not for the first time, kind of. Okay. I have seen this movie probably 10 times from the halfway point until I've watched like 45 minutes of it. Like, okay, I don't know why I don't know why I'm hiding. It's Meet the Parents with Ben Stiller. So I've watched Meet the Parents from like the scene where they're playing volleyball to like the place getting burnt down. That's probably like 20 minutes. I've seen that part like legitimately like five plus times. Yeah, at least 5 times. And I don't know where in the movie is the part when they're at the bar and they race home. I think that's also in that range-ish. That part I've also seen like 3 or 4 times on TV. I have never seen the opening half hour. I've never seen the closing 10 minutes. Never. So I decided I was going to sit down, watch an elite fall movie. I mean, it released in October originally for good reason. Elite fall movie. So watched it for the first time. And it was really funny to watch it for the first time having seen Get Out before, because it just puts you on edge for like the first 30 minutes because it's the same as Get Out. And I knew Jordan Peele like referenced this movie. It was literally like a direct homage in the beginning of Get Out. And it is like eerily similar. It's like the most on edge I've been for a De Niro performance. And that's saying a lot because he's Robert De Niro. But I'm being serious. This is the most on edge I've ever been for his performance. It like took me like a good, probably opening, 20, 30 minutes to be like, okay, nothing bad is going to happen, Ryan. This is not Get Out. It was just kind of funny. But, finished movie. Really enjoyed it. I love Stiller. I think Stiller is so good. So good. He rolls up at Happy Gilmore, throws legitimately like 105 miles an hour, and just strikes out everybody. Like he's elite in that movie. He comes in like he's Emmanuel Classe and just absolutely cleans up. He only gets like 1 inning. He faces 3 batters, strikes them all out, and he's done. Like he is so good in Happy Gilmore. And then, he can do that. He can do that type of role, and he can do the type of role he does in Dodgeball, which, fun fact, I've actually never seen all of Dodgeball in one sitting either. My sister, like, absolutely loves that movie, and I've just never felt like being like, oh, let's watch it, because she, like, flips out for it. So, maybe that just makes me a little bit of a douche. But anyways, you've never actually seen all that. Maybe I should watch that at some point. But, Stiller can do a role like that, and he can just be like a complete, horrible person in Happy Gilmore, and then turn around and do something like Greg Fokker in Meet the Parents, where he's not exactly the most likable guy, but he's trying his best and he's messing up, and you feel bad for him and whatever. And he can do a role like that, and it's just very impressive to me. Like he can as much as I enjoy Happy Gilmore, Sandler very frequently falls into, I'm just gonna be a big man child. Like, I talk stupid. I'm not very smart. Like, he does Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore. Like, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, and Waterboy. All three of those. Very similar roles. Bobby Boucher and Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore are all very similar in the way he gets to act. Now, Happy Gilmore is the most like, well, maybe Bobby Boucher is. Billy Madison is definitely the worst out of the three. But even in, like, bedtime stories, which I love bedtime stories. But I really probably should have put bedtime stories in the Hall of Fame last year. I mean, when I rewatch bedtime stories at some point, it's getting in the Hall of Fame. I love bedtime stories. There's some points where he's kind of a big man child. Not all every movie, but there's a lot. That's kind of like his go-to thing. It's like how Farrell's go-to character is very Anchorman, where he's kind of an idiot, but he loves the ladies, and he's like, like that. Anchorman, Ron Burgundy is not very different than Ricky Bobby, who is not that different than whatever his name is in Step Brothers. Step Brothers is a little more different because he's like a big child, but it's still similar in some ways in the way he's acting to Ron Burgundy and Ricky Bobby. Now, granted, I get it. You're a comedian. You got a way you act, right? But I guess I look at my GOAT, Eddie Murphy. Axel Foley, nothing like Prince Akeem. Nothing. Like Coming to America's sense of humor is so different than Beverly Hills Cop. Incredibly different. It's not a similar sense of humor at all, honestly. And I think Coming to America is pretty funny, but like it's nowhere near as funny as Beverly Hills Cop 1 or 2. It's just not. And I think that's because Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, well, at least the first one, wasn't really intended to be like a comedy, and then Eddie Murphy showed up, and they were like, okay, it's going to be a comedy now because we got you, and he started improving, and he started working on the script, and so he kind of set the tone with his improv and the way he was taking it, and so they followed that up with a script in the sequel that was also that tone, whereas I think Coming to America, if I had to guess, I don't know these things, I've never talked to Eddie Murphy, if he wants to hit me up, let me know, I would love to chat it up with you, but Eddie Murphy, I'm willing to bet Coming to America was like, okay, what comedy movie do you want to make? Like, you're a star now, let's make a comedy movie. And he wrote that movie, and he just was like, okay, I think this is funny, so we're going to do this. So it's like, okay, I think this barbershop thing is funny, where I play all these different characters. Let's do this. Okay, I think it's funny for him to, be this print. Like, he thought, you know what I mean? Whereas Beverly Hills Cop, the tone of comedy, its sense of humor was set by him just improving things within a relatively realistic world. So it has a very different sense of humor than a lot of films. And it's elite. And that's so good. My goodness. But anyways, so then I watched Meet the Parents. So then I watched Meet the Fockers last night. And I also really enjoyed it. And what's weird about these movies is, like, I don't watch them and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the funniest thing ever. Like, I don't think they're anywhere near as funny as, like, a Happy Gilmore or a Beverly Hills Cop. Or, like, the movies that I think are absolutely hilarious. I think Major League is absolutely hilarious. I think Happy Gilmore is really funny. Bull Durham's really funny to me. Lego Batman movie. Like movies that I think are like the funniest. I think Step Brothers is hilarious if you're with your like buddies. It is not like me and Genevieve are gonna watch Step Brothers, but if it's like me and some of my buddies, hell yeah, Step Brothers is hilarious. Goonies is really funny. But I don't know if it's like the funniest, like in the top 5 funniest, but it's funny. But anyways, I don't think Meet the Parents is like hilarious. I think there's a decent amount of parts that made me laugh. Like I laughed out loud probably, 5 times. That's actually a decent amount, but a lot of it's just the characters. And it's like I enjoy being with these characters. And I'm going to watch Little Fockers probably tonight or within the next couple days. And I'm going to enjoy that. And that's just kind of it. I don't know. It's in this weird space where, like, it's not amazing, but it's not like it's better than fine. Like they're good. I think Meet the Parents is better than Meet the Fockers. Mostly because Hoffman is going so into his role that I honestly don't really like him. And I just kind of love De Niro's character. And I know the part of these movies is like De Niro's character, you're supposed to kind of be like, no, I don't know if I like him. He's a bit hard on him. I just kind of love him. I just think De Niro is so fun. as Jack, and I think Jack's kind of great. And yeah, he does some questionable things, like with Greg, like when he shot him with the truth serum in Meet the Fockers. But I kind of just find him incredibly entertaining, and I think Stiller is very entertaining as his character. And I also think the mom, I can't remember De Niro's wife's name. All of a sudden, it's escaping me. But she's very funny also, and she's very funny for them to bounce off of. So yeah. Oh, Stiller's mom was also really funny too. I'm sorry I can't remember those actresses' names. I feel really bad because I can remember Hoffman, Stiller, and De Niro, but yet I can't remember any of the women's names. That's, not a good look for me, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. It's my bad. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's been a good time, and I don't know if any of them will crack the Hall of Fame, but I kind of just greatly enjoy them. I think they're fun. It's not like it's the greatest thing ever, but it's also like not fine either. They're good. So yeah, I don't know. It's been fun. I've been enjoying. All right. Well, man, I talked in this section way longer than I thought I would. But that's going to be it for me. I will, I'm actually going to double record. I'm going to go eat dinner, and then I'm going to record my NBA predictions pod. So expect my predictions pod within the next couple days, because I'm going to schedule it to upload probably Thursday. Yeah, give this two days to breathe. So, okay. Episode 111 will be NBA predictions. You want my spoilers for who I want to take to win the finals? I probably shouldn't do that. I probably shouldn't. You should probably let you listen to the episode. Here, this will be the trick. The thumbnail is going to be the New York Knicks. I'm going to take them to win the finals. There you go. I spoiled it. I'm terrible. I know. I'm crazy. My bad. If you still want to listen, great. But if you were going to listen just to hear who I take to win the finals, there it is. I'm taking the Knicks to win the finals. So, all right, go Guardians. Watch the Penguin if you have literally any interest. And I will see you all next time. And maybe I'll see you on the NBA predictions. Or if you don't care, now you know who I have winning the finals. If you care about everything else and you want to hear me wax poetic about how I think the Pistons might be better than expected and lie to myself and to you all, make sure you check that out. Thank you all. See you whenever you care to listen again.